Hello there, my name is Psycho, and today I'm going to talk about fight planning. This concept is similar to my recent shot calling video, but this will go over a bit more of the methodology of making plans, and it will be a brief introduction to how you can start making your own plans. This video is going to feature a short analysis of a game from Miracle, a mid to high level team. This game is going to be used as an example of how fight plans can have issues, but how game reviews can be useful for understanding how to plan better for the next game. At this point, I would like to say a big thank you for supporting my last video. I was genuinely surprised by how well it ended up doing, and I'm glad a lot of people found it educational and entertaining. I'm going to try to produce more content similar to this style, so I would love if you had suggestions or anything you want me to cover Splatoon-wise, or video making-wise if there's anything you want to see. So again, that's pretty much all I have to say. Let's get into it. So, before analyzing Miracle's games, let's first define what I mean by fight planning in general. So, one of the things you can think about is where do you want to go off opening? That would be the first one. This is like an opening plan. So if you want to plan for your team, like let's take a pretty standard comp here. I'm actually going to do the one that I did in Tri-Strike Tuesdays. So let's say we got a pencil. Let's say we got. Let me get a 52. Let's put a 52 somewhere. And what did we had dually and we had like stamper. Let me get that. Yeah. So you got these four weapons. This is your team. Now, where would you want your team to go off opening? Like, this is Clanwood Scorch, and the reason I'm picking this map specifically is because this is the game I'm going to analyze. So, let's say you want to do a pulling plan. I am on 52, let's say, or you're a 52 player, or whoever you want pulling. Let's put them bottom right. Now, the goal of this is that, in theory, the enemy team is going to look this direction. So if there are people here, they're going to be looking at the 52. The 52 has a wall and can survive. So now that you have somebody looking there, what do you want the rest of your team to be doing? So let's say if you want your team to be able to have an off angle, make sure your stamper gets set up over here. Same thing, your dualies could maybe go middle even, or like somewhere left side, because the attention is going to be pulled to the right. So you want your team to be able to play left side. The 52, or whoever, in theory, could control this whole right side, like this whole area. Your pencil can kind of go in a few different locations. I would like the pen around here, if this were me, because you could also put it here, like somewhere to get a crossfire. Because, like, let's say there are people positioning left side. Now, this was in the game that I played on Rainmaker Scorch. A lot of people came around the left, and my pen was able to get value. Additionally, if the pen quick charges cooler out of spawn, they can cooler for the left side people, and then they can go fight and go hopefully help the 52 on right, or to be able to capitalize on their pull. Or again, like, you could set up with an entirely different fight plan. Like, let's say you're playing around a special. So maybe you want dualies to get a crab right side, and then let's even keep your 52 here. But we're gonna erase that, yeah. Let's say you're playing for crab, like you just want to play for crab. Your dualies can get crab and say, I'm gonna crab, go now. The 52 could like rotate around here, maybe play on this wall. Stamper could converge here. You get a nice little triple angle here. The pen can start to push up in the middle, something like that. So that could be a nice opening fight plan. You just got to think about where you want to play and what the plan is. If you're playing for a special, communicate that to your team. And you got to say where you're going with the special and where you want your teammates to go. So if the plan is to crab right side, like let's say you want to crab this area. Let's just say hypothetically. I don't know if this is like 100% a good play. But let's say you want to. You should say, I'm going to crab this area. Let's fight off of this. So if there are people here, they might rotate to the left side. So they might rotate this way. If they rotate there, the stamper should be ready to fight them. Additionally, the pen can kind of rotate this way maybe and help the stamper in a crossfire. The 52 can also push up with the crab and potentially create a little pincer here. You see how they're playing all different sides of the map, but also converging? This is very good. No one is collapsing on top of each other. Like, my dualies and Gal aren't in this bottom right corner together, because then you lose a lot of pressure. Additionally, my Stamper is not, like, off in Narnia pulling. Because, again, this angle, like, even if people can pull from here, the only person who can shoot at it is the pencil. Like let's say people are getting pulled this direction, maybe the Gal can come help, but, like, I mean, you could play like that. I guess you could. Like, it's not out of the question. But you can make up any opening plan you want. I would say just start with a plan. I just erased the Stamper. Lol. But yeah, I would say just start with some kind of plan. Now, a lot of the time, people have an opening plan, but then they just don't know what to do after opening. So then you want to find out what are key positions on the map. I would say for Scorch Gorge, the top mid is a pretty key position. I'm going to bubble this in a little. That kind of looks like nothing. Let me do something different. I'm just going to put like an X here. That's good. And then, I'm actually going to switch colors too. Then, what's another key position? I would say this top left, because this is an off angle. And then the main key position is this top right, because this is how you get to score. So these three positions, if you want to scale to score in the basket, you want to have something here, here, and probably on this grates. If this is me, I would put pencil here, because pen can hit here, and then also this left side, and then also this right side. I would say the pencil could go here. Additionally, if the option is clear, the pen could also rotate here, or could choose to rotate here. Like, if the pencil wants to do that, I would say that's a good play. Additionally, your dualies could maybe set up here, play for a crab in this right side, or dualies could also poke this side with the Stamper. You're going to have somebody doubling up probably, because Scorch just doesn't have a lot of entry, but I would say maybe dualies and Gal play together. Gal could wall this right side, or Gal could go top left and hold this, and you could rotate this way, like, instead. There's a lot of different combinations you can go, but I would say something like this. You want to have players in these key positions, because you want to hold these positions so you can get an advantage and then score power clams and regular clams, stuff like that. So that's a pretty good example of fight planning generally. But now let's apply it to the real game, and let's show some examples of how things can go wrong during the game that you may have to adjust for later, because not everything is cookie cutter like this. So now, after looking at the theory of fight planning, let's apply it to the real game. So off opening, you can kind of see there are very similar opening to positions to what I just discussed. The only difference is there's different weapons, and Arzuru has kind of dropped off of that top right because they are a brush and not a dually, so they have nothing to really charge a special for. But again, it's pretty similar positions. Two people on left, one on right, one on bottom right to pull attention. I think the plan is to pull attention bottom right. That's what this setup looks like. Now, the issue with this plan is there's an incident. Arzuru kind of just walks into four people. This is not great, and this makes X-Man jump and try to help Arzuru. And by jump, I mean like flinch, not super jump. And then it also makes Vividi and Ezio kind of flinch as well and go into a situation that they didn't need to push into yet. Arzuru is just way too fast on the engage here. I would like to see a little bit slower of an engage, or at least a bit more like planned out of an engage. It seems like they were just kind of running headfirst into four people, which again, it was late in the scrim, so that's kind of tough. Like, I'm not gonna blame them for that one. That's just something you got to be aware of on opening, is that if you are gonna plan something, try to like do a more coordinated plan rather than just I'm gonna go run in and kill four. Like, that's probably not going to work at this higher level of play. So yeah, something to be aware of there. But that's, again, you can't fight plan for everything. Like, sometimes you're just going to make a mistake, or sometimes your teammates will make a mistake. That's just always going to be how the game is. So you got to kind of deal with that and adapt. But yeah. So before critiquing Miracle's fight planning, I'd like to show a very good example of Gaia's fight plan and how they capitalized on an advantage very well. So in this clip, Gaia has a 2-down advantage because Miracle just pushed up and they got wiped on their push, so Gaia has a good chance to take space and control positions. So remember,
on Scorch, you want to control top, middle, left side, and right side on your push. That's where you want to go. So now what it looks like here is they're clumping right side, which they are, but they do a good job of correcting for this. So you see Mimi throws one dynamo shot out to the left. This is good pressure. I would like if they rotated a little bit more, but again, very good pressure here. And at the same time, you get Luckyo Booyah Bombing. Now this Booyah Bomb is very, very important for this push because it's designed to get people into position and to start a snowball on this push. At the same time, you see Devade rotating to the left side. This is very critical because Devade is covering any drops. I would like if Devade was positioned on grates maybe, but I still don't mind them being on this left side in general, because again, you can control drops. So if someone tries to drop to retake on Scorch, Devade is here to control that drop while the rest of his team is Booyah Bombing and trying to fight up right side. This is just very good, like, making sure your team is taking space while you're on push. So this Booyah Bomb does a great job of splitting Miracle. So the Booyah Bomb is thrown at a critical choke point on the map, which is next to this basket and snipe area. So Miracle can't walk Miracle can't walk through, and they can't engage on this left side for them, right side for Gaia. And again, Devade is doing a great job poking out Vivity. I really, really like this from Devade. Just, again, controlling the rest of the space, because now the rest of Gaia can just walk in on this right side because Devade is covering the only other angle Gaia can engage from, or Miracle can engage from. So yeah, this is just a very, very clean push. I would like, if I could be a little critical, again, I would like someone on top mid, maybe on left, but they're playing a Dynamo comp, so they're playing a little bit more aggressive. Maybe you could have Sencon in rapid position on grates, something like that. I would maybe like that. But again, this is just a very good example of how you can control key positions, and it will allow you to get in more effectively. So that, like, because again, the fight plan is to control left, mid, and right. And I think they do a pretty good job of getting all of those, maybe except middle. But yeah, I really like this. I really like this from Gaia. And you'll see Miracle's fight plan is similar, but is missing a few key components. So we'll go on to that next. This is kind of the game after about 40 seconds. It's kind of neutraled out. Gaia is on respawns right now, and Devade is the only person left alive. I like the plan here to try to capitalize on Devade being solo. But again, this is a good example of pulling attention. So Devade's death here does pull all of Miracle into this bottom left corner, which is where they do not want to be right now. Like, that's not a good position to have on your push, because look what happens. The rest of Gaia can just kind of push right back in, and there's no one stopping them because everyone who could stop them is bottom left, kind of looking at nothing. So it's not bad to kill Devade there, but one thing I would like is, instead of kind of all rushing Devade to try to get the kill, just trust that one person should be able to win a 1v1 in that situation. Like, I would have just left X and hoped that X wins the 1v1 there. Maybe you can send 2 people. I would be suspicious of that, but 3 is a little too much. Like, that's just way too many people to be looking at that left side. But anyway, so now we're on to push, and what I do not like here is a very, very early usage of strikes. So one thing that Chara has coached Miracle on is that strikes should be used to set up you or your teammates in good positions. It should not be used randomly, or just kind of right before you're about to get into positions. So, like, a good use for strikes, like, imagine X-Man is kind of waiting on grates and trying to get to top left, then Vivity should use strikes to strike X-Man in so he can get to that position. Or Vivity should use strikes when they're ready to go right side so that they can get that critical area. But neither of those plays were ready, and these strikes get pretty much zero value. They are just kind of paint on the floor, and they barely displace the enemy team at all. So that's something that you can look at, is when do you want to use your specials and kind of timing special usage. So again, right here, what is the key positions that you want to take? You want to take left side, you want to take top, middle, and you want to take right. So right side is very, very heavily contested right now. There are 6 people looking at right side total on both teams. Also, Ezio is kind of looking at right side, but I like Ezio's positioning on top mid. But again, I would rather Ezio be on Pencil here, because Pencil can poke. If there's a Pencil here, Rapid and Dynamo cannot push up as far as they do. So again, that's something to think about with that. But again, we have 3 people on right. I would like some attention on the left side. Vivity does a good job of rotating left, but I think it's more to dodge damage than anything else. I would like if Vivity stayed here and pulled attention, but Vivity ends up rotating back to the right, and now what's happening is that Gaia has a pincer on Miracle, because there are 2 people on the right and there are 2 people on the left for them. They are going to pincer Vivity and Ezio pretty heavily here. Yeah, in this fight, it gets pretty scrappy. Now, they end up actually not going for the pincer. I would have done a little bit differently there. But they end up pretty cleanly winning this fight. And I have my reasoning for it is that the positions were off from the start of this push. Somebody should have been looking left side besides Ezio. There needs to be someone trying to force into left side, because 3 people stacking right side is not going to be the answer, because you are just very easily shot there, especially when you don't have a lot of entry tools or you're using your entry tool too early. Like, they're playing double Ultra Stamp, which is tough because Ultra Stamp isn't a very good entry tool. Strikes are a great entry tool for everyone on the team, or yourself if you're the bucket player, but if you can use strikes to get you or your team in, then you've done your job. I feel like the strike usage here was just very off and kind of left the rest of the team in poor positions. But again, I think you can still salvage this if you send somebody left side, and there is just no threat on left side at all. Like, somebody should be able to walk here. And I know that there's a dynamo, but again, this is why you hold strikes. Imagine if you had strikes to strike that dynamo out. That's why you got to do that. Strikes are a team coordinated special. You cannot just use that on your own. Like, if you're going to use strikes, you got to use it in a good time. You got to use it to get you or your team in. That is a very important fight planning thing. So make sure you're using specials with a purpose. Don't just kind of throw them around. Make sure they have a game plan or purpose. So some final thoughts. So fight planning is basically planning where your team wants to go during the game. So this would be controlling key positions, and it could either be on opening, holds, retakes, or pushes, anything like that. So you just want to plan where your team should be looking at, and maybe how many players should be there, or what players should be going where. That would be a general fight plan. In this game in specific, the fight plan for pushing is to take top left on Scorch, right side, and top middle. And in these examples, Gaia does a great job of this. My only critique would be they didn't take top middle, but they don't really have the comp to support that, so I'm kind of fine with that. Miracle could use a little work on their fight planning here. I think it was slightly uncoordinated, but the great thing about this game is replay review. This is the most important thing, because Miracle can watch this game back and now understand, with a good example from Gaia's push, what they can do better next time. Because this is during a scrim. This has no meaning really besides practice. If you're in a tournament and you lose a game like this, then this is going to have more meaning. But now, for the next time, they know we need to take top left, use strikes to get in, and focus on positioning not all clumped on right side. So again, now they have things that they can improve for on the next time. This gives direction. This gives an actual direction on which you can improve. And I think that's very important for VOD reviewing. I think a lot of people VOD review and they're just simply like, oh, I went down here, I shouldn't have done that. This is a great way you can use VOD review to fight plan more effectively and get your team more coordinated. So I hope this is educational. And again, if you have a concept that you want me to cover or any advice for making content like this, I'd love to hear it. Please leave a comment. And yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.